When I was a freshman at UT, I decided that I was going to go through Rush. I really wanted to make some new friends and meet some other girls, and I figured that would be a really great way to do that. So I got through the first day, which was open house, and it was extremely chaotic, so I was thrilled to move on to the second day, which was Philanthropy Day. And on that day of Rush, all of the houses just explain what philanthropy they raise money for and why they support that cause and what it means to them. And about halfway through Philanthropy Day, I went to Zeta, and the first thing I noticed was just pink everywhere. Pink had thrown up in that house. It was crazy, but it was because their philanthropy is breast cancer awareness and education. And instantly I felt a connection because at that time my grandmother was battling breast cancer and she was going through chemo. So it really hit home whenever I walked into that house. I was really excited to learn a little more and kind of just get a feel for what people do to raise money for a cause that was really close to my heart as well as my family's. So eventually everyone gathered in the dining room, and one of the current members stood up and shared with 60 strangers why breast cancer awareness and education was so important to her and why she chose to pledge Zeta. Her mother was a two-time breast cancer survivor. She was only 51. She had been diagnosed when she was in her 40s and went through chemo, and everything was fine, but about a year later it came back and she had to get a double mastectomy. And that's really hard for any woman to go through. And I was just so inspired to hear a story like that. It's always wonderful whenever those kinds of stories are shared with you because it really lifts your spirits, especially whenever you're going through a time of doubt. And when I was listening to this story, all I could think of was my grandma. And I couldn't wait to get home that night and call her and share this story with her. And I did that. And I told her the story of the two-time breast cancer survivor and the mother of this girl that I met at the house. And she started crying on the phone, and she loved hearing stuff like that because it really lifted her spirits and gave her a sense of hope that she didn't always have. And she's now a survivor and has been for a few years now, and she's still very healthy. And I know that it was small things like the story that I shared with her that really made a difference throughout her struggle and through her battle with breast cancer. And it really made a big difference in keeping her attitude positive and her spirits high throughout that time in her life.